Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Easy Markets Daily Pitch International with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 31st of March, guys. Today is the last trading day of this week, of this month. So yeah, guys, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Friday's morning session, where we're gonna have a look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff, basically the technical setups, how we can position ourselves for the day, maybe for next week. So, but yeah, we'll have a look at that. Before we go further, as always, we need to quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, yep, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendations, and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. Look, I'll disappear here for a little bit. I'll leave you the rest to read. I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest, yep, and we can continue. Okay, so back into the circle, into that my little corner there. Look, okay, so also before we jump into the charts, just a quick mentioning of our Easy Markets website, which you can always check out for more information about us. You can check out different platforms that we offer, different instruments, and of course the trading conditions that we offer. So yep, also if you want to, if you believe that you can cooperate with us and work with us, then you're all more than welcome, guys. I mean, you can get in touch with me, and then yeah, we can kind of go from there. But look, all that, like I said, more details if you get in touch. So we can go from there. Let's put it this way. Right, now let's jump into the charts, guys. The first one I want to pick up here is yep, Nikkei 225, and look at this beautiful move. Okay, in general, I will say that I have a lot of instruments here on the right, but I'll try to fly through most of them because I want to pick up on some that really worked out. Like I said in the beginning of this week, I was talking about a lot of these instruments, and a lot of them worked out nicely, so my targets have been met. So I just wanted to kind of run quickly through them, and there are some new ones which I'll pick up, but first is the Nikkei. Yes, so Nikkei 225, beautiful move. Look, I talked about this and I said that if we push through this 27,440 zone, I'll go higher. I'll aim for that 61.8% retracement on the Fibonacci tick. Then I'll target that 27,863 tick. And then yesterday, what I said that if we clear this whole territory, my next target is the this area right here, the 78.6% retracement on the Fibonacci. Well, it almost tick. Look, I'll take that as a success because again, it's just a few points shy from reaching that. And to be honest, if the European and US indices rally, the futures here, and Nikkei futures could also push further north. But look, in general, at this point, look, everything worked out perfectly according to the plan, according to the textbook. So, yep, now the question is where we go next. Well, next, we'll just have to wait and see. And probably on this one, I will wait until I get some sort of a reaction today from the after the PCE index. I want to see how the US markets are going to close today. So, and then at this point, probably I will just leave it as it is. I will say, yes, look, if it clears that 78.6 and goes higher, yes, good move could be. But still, initially I will target this little hurdle. Let me just put this on the chart. This little hurdle here, the 28,393. I'll target that one, and yeah, I'll go further north if that one gets cleared. But at this point, like I said, I really want to see what's going to happen with the PCE index today. So yeah, a lot of waiting, unfortunately, will be until the data comes out. Maybe we'll get some moves here and there, but yeah, I think that's going to determine. And then the way the US market is going to play out, that's going to be interesting to see further on. So like I said, yeah, just long story short, great move great result. I'm happy about this, and yes, good ending to the week. ASX 200, so beautiful move as well. Mission accomplished. Great. Look, I talked about this. In the beginning of this week. I said that, hey, keep your eyes on that 7,100 zone. If we clear it, my next target is the downside line. Boom. Perfect touch. Perfect hit. Great. Now the next target here is, well, the next target, in terms of the next target, again, the same story with as with the Nikkei and in general with the other indices as well today. So keep those in mind, because at the moment I think that this is how it's going to stay. And to be honest, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wait for this one to make some sort of moves here. Maybe it could bounce back, or not bounce, sorry, drop back down a little bit, maybe towards these two EMAs, the 50 and the 100, shown as the red and green lines respectively. Maybe even a drop back to the 200-day EMA, who knows. But look, if we start falling back below the 200-day EMA, this is where I'm going to start considering some moves to the downside a little bit. If we clear the downside line, this one taken from the high of the 4th of February, I will go higher. I do have an obstacle here, as you can see on my chart, the 7,245 and 60. Both of these could present themselves, could present nice resistance initially, but if that gets cleared, then certainly further north here we could travel towards the 7,331 level, and then we'll take it from there. But again, initially I'm targeting only this area. Nasdaq. So, guys, in general, Nasdaq. Okay, in general, the U.S. markets. So, rally continued. Great. I talked about this, and what I said. Look, I mean, this is working out so far. Great. Again, if you missed this, then I would say wait now, because like I said, wait for the data to come out today. We do have, like, apart from the US data, we do have also the preliminary CPI numbers from the from Europe. Also have the Canadian GDP numbers for on a month-on-month basis from Canada. That's expected to rise. Chicago PMIs from the US, but yeah, before that we do have the PCE numbers. So let's keep an eye on that one. European Eurozone unemployment rates coming out as well. So yeah. Oh, by the way, we got the British GDP numbers. Okay, those improved. Went a little bit higher than expected. Yep. So the initial expectation was for the Q-on-Q one to go to 0, but now it's 0.1. Year-on-year figure from 0.4, the forecast of 0.4 to 0.6. Not to mention the previous one was 0.2. So quite a triple rise here. Now, okay. That's going to be interesting. I'll pick up on GBP in a bit, but looking at the picture here, yes, Nasdaq. So Nasdaq rally, great. Okay, look, I was talking about this, and I was just kind of saying that, look, we might see this pushing higher. Let's see how the PCE number comes out today, because if it comes out, let's say, worse than or below the forecast, we could see the indices rallying. And why? Because that could push away the interest rate hikes. And by the way, in terms of the hikes, look, if you remember in the beginning of this week, I talked about the Fed tool, and basically I said that the expectation for the rate was we were around 60 on here on this one without no increases, and now we're at around 53 on for the increase of the 25 basis points. So okay, this is because in my opinion at least, this is because, like, we're having that nice rally right now, and the markets are pushing higher, and great, they're enjoying the moment. Risk on environment right now is present, and that's why I think that the idea that the Fed will go for another 25 basis point hike, that exists, and because the market keeps on rising, and they need to control inflation. So yeah, purely, I mean, I think that this is the case, and I mean, again, let's see, of course, if that's going to be the case when we go into the Fed meeting, which is just in May, around 1 month time, more than 1 month's time. But look, for now, like I said, all eyes are on the PCE. The Fed are going to be watching the PCE, so it is going to be quite interesting to see how this is going to play out today. But look, at this point, I would say from just purely from the technical perspective, we broke the 12,950 territory. Okay, great. My next target is the 13,220. I talked about that level. And yeah, and so far I'm aiming for that one. As long as we stay above that 12,950, I am targeting the upside. I'm targeting that 13,220. So simple as that, guys. So in other words, I'm kind of still leaning towards the upside. So yeah, and that means that maybe somewhere in the back of my head, like somewhere deep in me, I'm thinking that the number could come out lower than the forecast. However, again, I don't take my word for that. I mean, this is just purely like a shot in the air, you know, honestly, like toss of a coin. So hey, what do I know? But anyway, look, at this point, I'm gonna say yes. I'm still leaning towards the upside, and I'm targeting that 13,220. In general, everything's working out. Like, look, I talked about this idea before, like last week as well. Even I said that. So after the kind of, you know, the bearishness that we had, I think that the market, yeah, will continue rising, and I think that maybe for, you know, April could also be an interesting month. Not to mention that March was a crazy one. I mean, talk about volatility. But yeah, I mean, be patient, of course. The most important, be cautious. Don't try to predict too much way into the future. You know, that just kind of proves us wrong all the time. So, but yeah, okay, if you managed to get it right, congratulations, you know, but in general, try to, you know, just take your profits, smaller profits, enjoy your life. Yeah, it's all good. Look, at this point, like I said, I'm aiming towards the upside. Let's see how this is going to play out. For the downside, by the way, I need to see a drop back below the 12,850 territory. This, of course, will be somewhat more of a neutral territory for me. However, I'm probably going to get cautiously bearish. Then I'm going to keep an eye on this short-term tentative upside line, which doesn't exist here, but I don't want to overcomplicate the chart. But if we start falling somewhere below the 12,733 territory, that's where I'm going to get a little bit more excited with the downside. The S&P 500. So the S&P, look, yesterday with one of the viewers here, we talked about this. We spoke about the S&P, and yes, he kindly suggested 4,100, and I didn't disagree with that. So look, very close, very close to that. I mean, we all, yeah, beautifully went there, and I talked about this. And look, I said that we could get a hold of somewhere near this downside line taken from the high of the 2nd of February. So yeah, everything's nice and dandy here. But look, I mean, in order to go further north, a break of this downside line is needed. This is just for me that for that extra precaution to be a little bit more careful. So if we clear that downside line, great. I'm going to go higher. If I'm maybe not all the way towards the 4,186, although I would like to see that move, but maybe a little bit lower initially, somewhere till around here. Let me just put this on the chart towards the 4,168 maybe initially, and then yeah, so on and so on. For the downside, I previously had talked about this territory, but I think that the further we go higher, the more I can lift my arrow here. So basically for the downside, I'm going to stick to this upside line. If we clear it, if we break it, I will go to the downside, and especially if we drop below the EMAs here as well. The German index, DAX, beautiful, mission accomplished, great. Look, I talked about this in the beginning of this week. In the beginning of this week, we were still below this downside line and said, keep your eyes on that downside line. If it breaks, we could go further north. Well, there we go. My target got reached, not only the 15,500, but also the 15,700. And now we're near the upper side of the range where we're currently, or okay, I might not call it, it might not be the perfect range here. I mean, but Okay, it all looks good on my chart, but hey, at the moment, like I said, it reached, let's put it this way, it reached my barrier, the resistance barrier. So if we want to go further north, guys, we need to see a clearance of that one. And so far, we are just kind of hanging around here. I'm going to wait and see. I'm going to wait on this one and see if we can clear it. If we drift back down, for example, today, okay, that's fine. Maybe, we could, play around here for going into next week, and then maybe at some point next week we could break this one and push higher. So let's wait and see. My next target, if we do push higher, my next target is the area near that, or should I say slightly below the 16,300 zone. And then we'll take it from there. But for now, yes, I need to see a clear move above this barrier, this highlighted zone, this resistance area. If we get that, then I'll go higher. US dollar. So there we go. Look, I mean, yesterday I spoke about this, but I have to admit I was a little bit more on the bullish side. However, okay, it kind of got held here by this barrier here, the 102.39 or 40, I would say even. We got a hold up here, and we drifted back down. But what I said after that, I said that if we fall back below the 102 zone and we stay below it, I will go lower. I'll aim for the downside. However, look, because today's an interesting day, I would say, economic data wise, then keep your eyes on that 102.40 still, because if we get a pop through it, guys, I'm gonna go to the upside. I'm going to go higher, and I'm going to target that 103 zone, or even a little bit above that. For the downside, I need to see, like I said, yeah, the index staying below the 102 zone. If we continue to trade below it, now my next target, this is where I need to make my arrow smaller. My next target is the 101.55 around here, marked by the current lowest point of March. By the way, we still have 1 day left. If this gets violated here, this 101.55, then yeah, I'll go further south towards the 101.26, and then we'll take it from there. Now jumping into gold, guys, looking good. There we go, guys. So in general, I said to you this from the beginning of this week, if we continue to trade above that 1960 zone, I will still remain somewhat bullish. Yesterday I talked about this little triangle pattern as well. So, we broke it to the upside nicely, and look how well this 1984 territory provided resistance. I mean, this is just spectacular. Great result. Now what's next? Well, first of all, I need to get rid of some of the lines here, a little bit in the way. Of course, I'm keeping a close eye on this barrier. Now, look, what I said to you before, that if we remain above the 1960 zone, I'm gonna aim higher. Ideally, I would like to see a test of the psychological $2,000 mark again, or maybe even actually this 2009 zone, which is the current highest point of March. If we clear that one, I'll go further north. In general, my ideal scenario, and I've mentioned this before, is somewhere around here. Let me just put this in the chart. So if we clear the 2009 zone, I'm going to aim for that 2050 territory, but I ideally would like to see a test of the 2065 level. But again, this is what I want. This is not what the market might give me. So have to accept that. So yeah, be careful at the moment. I would say, look, I'm leaning towards the upside, of course, especially if we clear that 1984 zone right here. If we do that, then yes, I will go to the upside. My next target is, as I said, the psychological 2000 mark, and then so on and so on. If by any chance we start falling below the 1960 zone, I am leaning towards the downside, and I'm going to be targeting this territory right here, the 1935-37 zone, approximately around there, and then we'll kind of take it from there. Silver, very quickly on silver. I know that yesterday one of the viewers did ask for silver, so yep, well, for analysis in silver, not silver itself, but yes, look, what I talked about yesterday. I said that in general there is I'm leaning towards the upside, but given that it was already kind of a good strong move, then I want to be a little bit more on the careful side. And to be honest, I really don't like to chase things. Okay, we got a great move, wonderful. I talked about this. I said that if we push through that 23.53 territory, I will go higher. And well, we actually almost reached that 24 level. Let me just so we reached this 24, almost reached the 24 zone. Just fell shy by a few points from reaching it. And yeah, now we're stalling here. Look, in general, what I said, that ideally I would like to aim for this 24.64. Still am aiming, and look, I would say as long as we stay above this short-term tentative upside support line taken from the low of the 21st of March, then yes, I will go further north. And as I said, if we clear the 24 zone, my next target is the 24.64 level. Jumping into oil very quickly. So oil, guys, yes, so far so good. We are flirting with this hurdle. I talked about it, and I said that if we push through this barrier, through the 50-day EMA, and we push above this upside line, then yes, I will go higher. I'll aim for that 100-day EMA or even above that. For the downside, I need to see a drop below the 17 mark. All this area here is a little bit on the neutral side for me. I mean, I really don't like this to trade something like that, so that's why I'm gonna just keep an eye on the psychological 70 zone right here for the downside. If we clear that one, great, I'll go to the downside. But at this point, yes, I am just observing the price action, and I'm waiting for a stronger move above the 50-day EMA. And if I can get that, then yes, my next target is the 100-day EMA, which on my chart, by the way, is roughly around that 76.82 zone. So keep that in mind. Jumping into the crypto world. So Bitcoin, I haven't looked at that one for quite a while. Look, Bitcoin right now is, yes, it's kind of moving sideways. Okay, it's yesterday we saw a test of that 29,000 mark again and drifted back to the downside. For now, I would say I am leaning towards the upside still, but I need to see a stronger move, a much clearer move through this 29,000 mark in order to go higher. If we get that, then yes, my next target is, of course, the psychological 30 zone, and then so on and so on, maybe even all the way towards this little target right here, the 32,380, marked by the high of the 31st of May of last year. It was a good resistance area, and let's see if we could play out one more time. Litecoin, very simple. Yes, still, we tried to push higher yesterday and we drifted back down. Look, I talked about Litecoin yesterday. I said that I'm cautiously bullish, but to get comfortable with further upside, I need to say push above the 94.75 zone. So far, I'm not getting that, so I'm just observing the price action. If we start breaking the upside line and we fall somewhere below this hurdle, this 85.85 zone, now that's where I'm going to get a little bit more excited with the downside. Ripple is waiting. Ripple is waiting. I think it had a perfect move right now. It had a great rally, so now I think it's going to wait because it's near its key resistance area. Look, if we somehow clear this, yes, I'll go further north. I'll go towards that 0.60 territory, or even better, this one right here, the 0.6573. That's going to be my next target if we do clear this zone, this highlighted zone. But again, like I said, be cautious, be careful, because again, we're waiting for that decision. I don't know when it's going to happen, but yeah, we're waiting for that decision. So just kind of wait for it a little bit. Excuse me, I had to water my throat. Right, so in terms of the downside on this one, if there are any short sellers, well, if we fall back below the 0.51 territory, I will lean towards the downside a little bit. I will aim for this upper side of the rising channel, which we broke. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, this channel in a way should be gone, because maybe it's not relevant anymore, but out of curiosity, I want to see if this is going to play out. I mean, look, don't get me wrong, we do have this little obstacle here in the way, 0.4927, But if that gets cleared also, then yes, I will go a little bit lower. Okay, guys, so jumping into a few pairs, I have a few that I want to go through very quickly. So yeah, AUDUSD, this one right here is an interesting one because again, so far so good, trading above this upside line taken from the low of the 10th of March. And yes, I would say yes, there is still hope that the bulls could pick up here, and they're still kind of in control even, I would say. The only thing is that we need to see a clear push through this barrier, through the 0.6759 in order to go higher. Because at this point, yes, it's a tricky one for now, I would say. And if we do clear the 50, the 100, then yes, we could go higher. We could go towards that 200-day EMA or even above that. We do have a little obstacle here, which I noticed, this 0.6811, a 12, or actually 12, approximately around here, which could be a nice good target. But again, I prefer ideally if we clear all the EMAs, I'll go a little bit more to the upside, guys. And if you want to actually apply the Fibonacci's on this one, which you could, there's no crime in doing this one. Let me just adjust this. Extend the lines to the right. Okay. Oh, these are very bright. But yeah, look, the Fibonacci's here, and if we at the moment, like I said, this area here, kind of, which I was talking about, the area around the 100-day EMA, near the 0.6784, something like that. We do have or 0.6790. We do have the 38.2% retracement on the Fibonacci. Again, if that gets clear, then yes, it could open the door towards further higher levels. But at this point, let's go slowly, step by step. At the moment, I'm going to target the 0.6759. If we clear that one, this will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and then we could start targeting these EMAs or even above that. AUDNZD, one of my favorite ones, and look at this. I mean, I talk about AUDNZD a lot, and I mean, honestly, I do like this pair. It's quite technical, probably because most of the time it does what I want it to do. So talk about not being biased, but yeah, look, at the moment I would say I said to you by the way in the beginning of this week as well, look, we're watching this range, and in order for me to go lower or higher, I need to see a clear breakthrough out of this range, and so far we're getting that break through the lower side of the this range near the 1.0688 level. But this is where I have to kind of point out that okay, we're getting that break, but maybe it's a false breakout like we had here, for example, so it's not really finished yet. So we need to see the body of the daily candle staying below this. If it stays, great, I'll go towards the 1.0623, or even better, the 1.0560, and then I'll take it from there. For the upside, I need to see a push back above the 1.0786 territory right here, and then we could go to the upside. AUDCAD, look, I don't look at this one very often, but I do like pairs when they present themselves with opportunities, and this one could be one because again, we're near this key support barrier, the 0.9046. If we clear it, great, I will go lower because a forthcoming lower low would be confirmed, and then ideally, this is what I'm going to be targeting, this area around here. Well, actually, it's something around these lines here. So yeah, the 0.8875, 65 levels, so approximately around here. But before that, we also have a target, and this one right here, the 0.8958, which could also be a nice good target. And but again, either way, guys, for all that, if you want to go lower, you need to see a clear drop below this little hurdle, this little key support zone, and then yes, we could get a little bit more excited with the downside. Now with the upside, okay, I can start drawing some downside lines, which in a way could be a good one. In general, you could see that, hey, maybe we're forming a nice descending triangle here. If that's the case, then of course, according to all the TA rules, such patterns tend to break to the downside. But at this point, right, if you want to go to the upside, guys, a clear push through this downside line is needed, because at the same time, we might also push through the through all of the EMAs in our daily chart, and more buyers could see this as a good opportunity to step in. So that's why, yes, we do have this little obstacle in the way, the 0.8232. But if that gets cleared, guys, yes, the forthcoming higher high will be confirmed, and we could then start aiming for something around these lines, or this line, 0.9379 zone, and then we'll take it from there. NZDCHF, which I do look at sometimes, and it does present itself with nice opportunities as well. So look, I talked about this one this week. I said after we found good support near the 0.5664, I said in order to go further south, I need to see a clearance of that one. We didn't get that. Instead, we're getting a rebound. That means we're getting a higher low right now forming. The question is, can we actually break the downside line? Because that's my cue for the upside, and also a push above the 0.5772 territory right here, which I just marked. That would be just an extra thing for me to confirm the upside, because if we clear this, we could also push above the 50-day EMA, and potentially more buyers could join in. So just kind of keep that in mind. So yeah, if we do clear this 0.5772, my next target is the 100-day EMA, the 0.5826, and then the 200-day EMA, which is not far, by the way, from this little hurdle, this resistance hurdle. Oh, not this one, but this one right here, this area between the 0.5877 and the 0.5886. Now, US dollar against the Chinese yuan offshore. Okay, maybe something that you don't look at very often, guys, but I think that sometimes it's good to keep an eye on these, because on these exotic ones, look, today we had the data coming out from China in general, and we had from Japan also a bit of a data dump. I would say, like they had, like, yeah, Tokyo core CPIs, headline CPIs, industrial production, preliminary numbers, of course. Oh yeah, and then retail sales, and also unemployment rate. So a bunch of data. Honestly, check out that one. It's like it's all over the place. And but hey, that's what they do at the end of the month. So I think that's, on one hand, is quite useful because everything's at the same time. But on the other hand, you know, maybe you want to spread out that a little bit just to kind of get some opportunities in the market. That's what I call it. But anyway, look, what Chinese data came out as well. The Chinese composite PMI, manufacturing PMI, and non-manufacturing PMI, and all of them are showing, yes, good results. Came out much better than the forecasted numbers. And actually, I think that some of them managed to beat the previous figure, apart from the manufacturing PMI. So, okay, that's interesting, actually. So the Chinese composite PMI came out better than the previous, and the non-manufacturing PMI came out better than the previous, but the manufacturing PMI did slow down. It came out better than the forecast, but it worse than the previous. So, okay. Look, we had a reaction here. The Chinese yuan kind of strengthened against the dollar here. I don't know if this was the strength of the yuan, but it was or it was more of a weakness of the dollar. So okay, at this point, look, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to apply a little bit of technical analysis on this one, because again, if you want to consider some moves here to the upside or to the downside, I think you have to keep an eye on certain levels. And basically, for now, I would say from the shorter term perspective, if we push above yesterday's high, above the 6.88 zone right here, or 89 zone right here, then this may attract a few more buyers, because we would be placed back above all of the EMAs here, and then we could target that psychological 7 zone, 7 mark here, and yes. Then we could take it from there, of course. For the downside, let me just put this on the chart. So this is this way. For the downside, I need to see a drop below this hurdle here. This is 6.81. That's the current lowest point of March. If we clear that one, yes, I'll get a little bit more excited with the downside. USDJPY, of course, waiting for today's data. We'll see how it's going to play out, but at the moment, from the technical perspective, look, I mean, everything's working out nicely. It pushed all the way to my 50-day EMA. Great. What I said to you after that, I said that if we clear that 50-day EMA and we push above the 133 territory right here, then yes, I will aim a little bit higher towards that 200-day EMA, maybe that 133.55 zone right here, or even maybe above that. But again, in order to consider a move above that, I need to see a push above that 133.55 zone, and then we could take it from there. So the this area right here, the 138 zone, approximately around here, could be a nice good target, but hey, that's for much later. Let's go slowly for now from what we have, and if we do get that move back above the 50-day EMA, I am leaning towards the upside. USDCHF, now this one's a tricky one. Okay, with the downside on USDJPY, I'm going to take a conservative approach and wait for a drop below the 130.54, and then I'll take it from there. But USDCHF here, this one's a bit of a pain in the bottom, yes, because again, look, I talked about some of the levels here, but I think that what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make my targets very, very close. And look, if we do fall below the 0.9125, yep, this may attract a few more sellers, and we could target the 0.9060 or 70 and 60 zone here, approximately around here, and then we'll take it from there. This is a great area of support. Of course, if that gets clear, this will confirm a forthcoming lower low, and potentially further declines like this could be possible. But at this point, let's not rush into anything. Let's target only this, and then we'll take it from there. Now, in terms of the upside, well, in terms of the upside, the 0.92 territory, that's what I'm keeping a close eye on. And if we do push through it, then yes, I will go towards that 50-day EMA and maybe even that 100-day EMA. But again, for that, I need to see a clearance of that 0.92 zone. GBPUSD. So mission accomplished on this one. I talked a lot about this this pair previously, and yes, like I said, mission accomplished because my target was the upper side of the range. Okay, we just came shy of hitting that 1.2444 level. Okay, that's fine. Honestly, I'll take that. But in general, what I was saying that as long as we stay above the midpoint of this range and above all of the EMAs, I will go higher. And my next target was the 1.2270. We got that. And then I was saying that my next target is the 1.2444. I will say we got that because we came very close to it. Look, it never hits never. Never say never. Never say never. Look, you always have to consider the fact that when you're aiming for a target, if it's kind of getting close to it, but just struggling to actually reach that level, just take your profits. Honestly, it's like, it's never like I said. Remember one thing: it's never as you want it. Whatever the market's going to give you, take that. Just whatever it is. Now, the question is, what's next? Well, this is where my arrow goes, and quite logically, yes, I mean, this is what I'm going to wait for right now. If we get that strong push through that 1.2444 zone and we stay above it, yes, I'll go further north, and my next target will be around here. The 1.2666, yes, so from 1.2444 to 1.2666, and that's near the high of the 27th of May of last year, and then we'll take it from there. For the downside, I need to see a drop below the midpoint of this range, below all of the EMAs here, and then, yes, I will take it from there, and I'll target the lower side of the range. GBPJPY, just a quick update. Look, so far so good. JD Invest, sorry, I mean, I'm gonna refer to the chat there. Could you check? Right, okay. Hi, good morning to JD Invest. German DAX 40. This is the list I go through every morning. So from the beginning of this video, guys, you can always see, and exactly, you can actually in the description as well of the video before it starts, you can always see what I'm going to be talking about. So you can kind of take a look at that. So I did already cover Germany, SA 40. No, I haven't not. Nasdaq 100 I did cover. IBM, Netflix, and Meta. This is this is a totally different kind of thing here, because the reason why I'm not covering stocks, because you need to go into a little bit more detail in that. Okay, you know, I can perform technical analysis on that one. It's fine, but to be honest, I like to deliver good information, and I would prefer to dig into those a little bit deeper and then kind of do something about it. So for that, I think that, look, if there are so many requests about stocks, I think that maybe I'll have to I'll do separate analysis on stocks in our easy markets kind of ideas section, you know, on our page, and trading view, easy markets. If you find that, you can like I said, I'll have a look at that. I think that it could be quite interesting. And yes, like I said, in terms of this webinar, these sessions, these are quick morning kind of sessions to go through some technicals on the most popular traded instruments here. But in terms of stocks, okay, like I said, if you do want that, I will have to look into this, and I will do them not as kind of a webinar, but as ideas, separate ideas, which you will be able to find maybe next week, or yeah, I'll have to look at that. I think I need to prepare for that a little bit more. So yep, I will throw some ideas in there in the idea section, which we have on stock, and yeah, you can check that out later on. So you can just kind of I think you can just follow us on like follow our page, and whenever there is an event or something like that, or some post or something, I think that TradingView will notify you about our post, so you can kind of check out that one. So you can I'll like I said, I'll pick up on this. But in terms of the German the DAX 40 Nasdaq, look. Once this video is finished, you can just quickly look at the recorded session. It will be available. It's also, by the way, available on YouTube. We just uploaded a little bit later, so if you want to see a recorded session on YouTube as well, you can do that. It's you just go and find Easy Markets on YouTube and go into videos, and you'll see my videos there. So, but yeah, sorry for that, guy. Sorry for that, JD Invest. But I need to kind of quickly continue with the rest of the instruments here. There's not much left, but like I said, watch the recorded session, and because the instruments that you're referring to, some of the instruments that you're referring to were in the beginning of the video. So I always do in the beginning of the webinar indices, then commodities, then cryptos, and then forex. So, okay, jumping into GBPJPY, look, I talked about this, and in the beginning of this week, I said, wait for this one, because maybe we're coiling up here, and we could be, now waiting for the nice, great breakout. And look at this, look at this beautiful breakout. I mean, I said to you that if we do clear this downside line, my next target is 164.25, boom, perfect. Reached my target, and then I said that if we clear that one, the 166 is on the radar. Yeah, thank you very much, JD Invest. Thank you for understanding. So, like I said, 166 is the next target for me if we continue to trade above that 164.25. Now, in terms of the downside, well, this is where I need to get rid of this downside line. And basically, if we fall back below all of the EMAs here, I'm going to move lower. But again, at this point, any move to the downside could be classed as a temporary correction before another possible leg of buying. Because why? Because we're still above this upside line. And actually, I think a few adjustments to the upside line have to be made, because I think this is going to be more accurate. There we go. So, yep, this is what I'm going to keep an eye on. If we do clear this 100, or actually drop back below all the EMAs, then yes, I will target the upside line here, and then we'll go from there. But at this point, yes, 166 zone is my next target. So let's see if we can reach that. Now, jumping into euro pairs, a few euro pairs, euro Aussie. Look, I talked about this one yesterday. We had a little tease here. Look at this. We broke the upper side here. We had a false breakout. I mean, this is what I keep talking about this, guys. I mean, wait for that real thing to happen. Okay, we got a false breakout. It's just proving to me that this barrier is good to watch. If we're getting that break right now again, let's see if we can stay above it. If we can, yes, I'll go further north. If we fall back below this, this means that maybe we could go retrace back down a little bit here, but in order for me to go lower, I would say a break of this upside line is needed. And until then, I'm gonna aim for the upside, especially with the fact that we are trying to push through this 1.6254 territory right now. If we stay above it, then yes, I'll go further north. EURNZD is a little bit of a different story. However, still, you can see basically which pair is from the two AUDNZD, which one's the weaker one. And by the way, also showed you an AUDNZD as well. So you can see that Australian dollar right now is a little bit on the weaker side and against the New Zealand dollar, and but against the euro, both of them against the euro are okay. Your NZD is holding up a little bit better, but still, to be honest, as I mentioned to you yesterday in my morning video, that we're flagging out. We have a flag, we have a pole, we have a flag, we have an upside line. Two of those, by the way, okay, tentative on the other side, but two of the upside lines, we're still trading above those. So. But still, I mean, okay, yes, everything's kind of pointing more towards the upside, but I need that confirmation break. I'm not really doing anything without that confirmation break above the 1.7464. If I get that, I'll go a little bit to the upside towards the 1.7550, which is the current or near the highest point of 2022. Yep, is that correct? 2022. Yep, that's the highest point near the highest point of 2022. Good potential target, but again, a confirmation break above the 1.7464 is needed for me. Euro USD. So we cleared the upper side, and the question now is actually, was the range? Did the range should the range be somewhere around here? Well, that's a good question, of course. And look, we always have to adjust this. But one thing for sure, it cleared the 1.0885 level. I talked about this and I said that I'm going to go higher. It reached the 1.0926 zone, which provided good resistance previously. And so far it continues to do so. And yeah, now I'm gonna keep an eye on this 1.0926. And today, of course, due to the fact that it's a special day in terms of economic data, I'm going to keep an eye on this barrier. If we clear it, my next target is the 1.1033 or even above that. If we clear this, guys, if we clear this barrier, yes, a forthcoming higher high would be confirmed, and we could go further north. Now, in terms of the downside, well, I think that it's time to remove this level and do a few readjustments, like for example here. So somehow this area, this hurdle, the 1.0869, looks a little bit better for the downside. If we fall back below it, I will consider a move towards the lower side of this newly drawn range. If we do get that, yes, I will target the 1.0760 territory again and maybe lower. But at this point, I'm observing the price action, not going to do anything. I'm just going to, look at it and wait for the data to come out. And then once I get the reaction, then I'm going to do something about it. Because again, I don't like to, because I don't have the crystal ball. And that's why I need to kind of wait for, I'm one of those unfortunate ones who doesn't have a crystal ball. And yes, I need to wait for the data to come out and to wait for the reaction and then do something about it. So yeah, unfortunately, that's the game plan. But look, in general, I would say I'm going to stick to these rules. And yes, if and again, consider false breakouts as well. The way to protect against them is just to see, let's say, if you start seeing that, let's say, the daily candle is kind of already staying a little bit more above it or below that certain level, you can start looking at potentially maybe going in the direction of the breakout. But of course, keep in mind that a sharp reversal might happen, and it could stop you out. So just kind of have your stop losses in place. Rather take a little hit than a bigger one, at some point later on. So just kind of, and also only risk what you can afford to lose. Otherwise, you should not be in here. If you like to gamble, yes, okay, you can gamble if you want, but again, this is not like a very pragmatic approach to all this. So in general, look, I try to manage my risk carefully. I try to position myself carefully. I rather take a smaller profit, even though, let's say, these situations where you were, it broke out, you're in the right direction, it's going higher, you decided to close, and then kind of it continues to rally even like 2-3 times than what you got. So, and you're biting your nails. Then after that, don't, because that's just part of trading. Look, you're doing good already. If you take 1 pip out of the market every day, congratulations, you're doing well. So guys, right, I'll have to finish off here, but thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your time, guys, your views, your likes, your comments, everything. I really appreciate that throughout this whole week. It was wonderful, great. It was really nice to interact to you. But yeah, like as one of the guests here commented, I will try to think of something how to present this in terms of stocks. But I think that the most likely these will come out as ideas here on TradingView, and you will be able to find those on our in TradingView page. Yes. So yeah, in the ideas section. But just follow us, and basically whenever it's going to come out, it's going to notify you there somewhere in the corner, and yeah, you can pick up on that one. But anyway, guys, I'll have a beautiful trading day today. Stay safe, have your stop losses in place, don't overtrade. It's Friday, because again, remember one thing as well, that Fridays tend to be like one-way traffic. And if, for example, if you do like counter trend trading, yeah, just kind of be careful with that one, because again, it might just fly high one-way traffic, and you're thinking, I'm gonna go quickly for a little short, or let's say if you're it's flying to the upside, you're gonna go for a little short, and then thinking that I'm gonna capture maybe a little correction, and then I'm gonna go out, and then it continues to rally. Yes, because it's Friday. Honestly, it's like on Fridays it sometimes happens like that. So just be wary of that. So it's sometimes better to be on just with the trend, and it's always better to be with the trend, actually. So, but if you do counter trend trading, then just kind of take into consideration the fact that you might get taken out very quickly, especially on a Friday. So just kind of keep in mind. So guys, thank you very much. Stay safe, and I'll see you on Monday, as always, at my daily pitch international with easy markets here. Yes, and yeah, at 6 o'clock GMT time. So thank you very much, and have a nice, beautiful weekend. Bye-bye. If you want to continue to please the trading gods, subscribe to our channel for a blessing.